Hey guys, Moose here. We are back with another episode of Stonehearth in our Rise Children playthrough, and today is February 23rd, 2017. There is really not a whole hell of a lot to discuss today, unfortunately. There's pretty much... I mean, I'll give you some of the some of the games that came out today that I'm aware of. Super Army War, which was a Game Boy Advance title, which is just as bad as it sounds. Metal Slug 20, which is decent, but I don't really have anything to talk about with Metal Slug other than arcade games. I think we talked about arcade stuff recently, so I'm not going to go back into that. Glad this is going along nicely. Let's check our... Real quick, before I get another rest, I'm going to check my inventory here. Ooh, is there a patch? Yeah, 701. Wow, I didn't notice this when I was recording earlier, so this must have, like, just happened. That's nice. Okay, and what I really want to see is something I missed. Well, yeah, here we go. Okay. We need stone. Kind of need stone and wood, so we'll get this marked. And we will come up here and plant some trees. So what are some other games that came out? Pinball Hall of Fame, the Williams Collection. I am not going to look into that. Let's get rid of the acacia trees. Got Arsenal of Democracy, which I have no idea what that is. Or particularly any desire to find out. I'm just going to plant all these. There's very little reason not to. Okay, nearly done. There we are. Okay, we're done. Then we got Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds, which look like some kind of Japanese game. You know what? I could have talked about Wargame European Escalation. Maybe I will talk about that, or I'll do a twofer. We'll talk about Wargame European Escalation, which I didn't play, but I did play Red Dragon a little bit, which seemed really cool, but too complex for me to get into. Our military's gonna... Yeah, okay, good. So nice in this playthrough. Military will do what they're meant to do instead of need to be handheld all the way to the fight. We got One Upon Light, no clue what that is. Far Cry Primal, which came out last year, so I don't want to... It's too recent. It's kind of boring. Hitman Go, which also came out last year. That was the definitive edition anyway. So really, it's like basically... Okay, good, he's fine. Pretty much you're looking at Wargame or Front Mission. And Front Mission Gun Hazard came out on this day in 1996, so that's 11 years ago. No, 21 years ago. Right? Yeah, 21 years ago. That game can drive a car, drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes. Scary. Right? I'm doing the math right on that? Yeah, I am doing the math right on that. 21 years ago. Terrifying. I am old. Anyway, so Front Mission Gun Hazard, never played it, but I did pick up Front Mission Evolved on Steam at one point and played it. It's actually one of the few games I've ever finished on Steam completely. Mostly for that, it's like Portal and Half-Life, and then... I don't know, I think that might actually be it. Like, a lot of the game, like, you can't say you finished Stonehearth, because there is no finishing Stonehearth, but... I don't know, what else did I even play? I don't know if I played, like, anything else to completion. I certainly can't think of anything, so we'll just say that's it. Pumpkin seeds, I don't care. So yeah, let's start with Front Mission, and we'll transition over to Wargame a little bit later. Somewhere around a little over halfway through, because we're already 5 minutes in here. Front Mission... If I can't really speak, I looked up some gameplay for Gun Hazard, and it looks like kind of a relatively... It looks kind of like a more basic version of Metal Slug, kind of. So, you know, maybe Metal Slug gets in on this too. So, we'll talk about 3 games here. The idea with Front Mission is that it's mechs, but it's not like super Japanese mechs. It's like more halfway between that and like Mech Warrior mech. So they're kind of Japanese looking, but then they're also like clearly machines. So I don't know, it looked cool. I remember Evolved being like okay, not particularly impressive or good even, it just like fine, it was acceptable. It was a passable game. So that, you know, for what it's worth. Why have you guys not dug out this? Oh, this is a separate building. Oh, fuck. I'm an idiot. That took way too long to notice. Oh, what has it been, like 20 episodes? Holy shit. I messed that one up pretty good. Alright, Carpenter can be up here. That can be one of the main ones. And I will say make one more. We want to have 2 of everything, probably. Make one more of those, make one more of these. So yeah, it was pretty cool. You know, mechs are fun. Everyone likes mechs, right? Actually, you know what? I should move them. Just move them like this and then empty them out once they're over here. It's just a lot easier that way. It was pretty basic gameplay. You know, I mean, when you can say mechs are fun and everything, but for the most part, if you're playing a mech game, really you're just playing a shooter. Like, you're not actually doing anything that's that different from a shooter. What happened? I said move. Why are you not moving? Okay, here we go. So, it was, I mean, for what it was decent. I wasn't really expecting it to be amazing or anything, and it wasn't, so fair. It would have been nice to... I don't know, but I don't know what a good mech game looks like. I think Mech Warrior 2 was kind of the peak. Mech Warrior 2 and Mech Warrior Mercenaries, kind of like suitably arcadey. I don't like, if I'm playing a mech game, I'm not looking for realism, you know? So... yeah, I don't know. Do I want another Mech Warrior 2? Is that what I'm saying? Like, we need to have another Mech Warrior 2? I think maybe, yeah. I think that'd be a hell of a lot of fun. I played this shit. Mech Warrior 2 still is like my favorite video game intro of all time. As well as Mech Warrior 2 Mercenaries, which it's like, remember kid, you are, oh no, it's like, look on the bright side. You get to keep all the money. I can't do the voice very well, but it was cool. I like that. And then they also had the intro to Mech Warrior 2 was the one with it's like Bravo Cadet and Alpha Assault getting fucked by whatever enemy it was. Bravo Assault or Alpha Assault was stupid. Bravo Cadet was much smarter. I mean, they both got wrecked, but the way the intro shows it is the Alpha Assault is like the whatever, he's like the real like hard ass or whatever. He's the actual military guy that's supposed to know what he's doing, saving a cadet, and he deals with one mech just fine, no problem. And I get that this is creative license. It's fine. I'm not really bitching about this. I just thought it was funny. So he's, you know, he wipes out the first one. He's fine. Takes out the mech. And saves the cadet. But then there's another mech. And the other mech blows the shit out of the cadet. So cadet's dead. And then for some reason the guns that blew up the first mech aren't functioning yet to blow up the other guy. And it says he has no ammo. So I don't know what they were. I mean, any of the... remembering the weapons in the game, you would have been able to fire it by that point if it was a game. But, you know, creative license, I get it. That it's not as funny, or it's not as good of an intro otherwise. But it's funny because the other weapon he has is like a fucking machine gun, which is like one of the worst guns in the game. I never use those fucking things. Why would you like limit yourself to an energy or to a ammo-based weapon when you could just have an infinite ammo energy weapon? It made no sense. And it's funny, and it like he highlights the reason why this gun should not even be in the game, because the whole point is he runs out of ammo and gets his ass blown away. But he's like shooting, he's like doesn't even bother to release the trigger when he goes behind a rock, so he just starts shooting the rock, and it comes back, he's like, you're out of ammo, you're fucked, and then he gets shot. Doesn't make any sense. Still an amazing intro though, I love that intro. What has happened here? I do not understand. Whatever. I'll just pick this up. They'll do it. What's in these? Nothing? Okay. There's no reason for these to be here. Did I already move the... Yeah, I moved... Okay. Weaver can be up there, that's fine. I kind of want to double up on these. Why is this not rotated? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, actually. Why don't I... You know, I could just move them down. But I'll probably put... I honestly don't know where I'm going to put stuff, actually. We'll have to plan on that. But yeah, MechWarrior 2, I think, was kind of the pinnacle of mech-based games, in my opinion. Kind of all went downhill from there. I really like that, like, you just give us a really basic outfitting system and, like, give us a good number of different mechs. And don't make it so focused on, like, oh, everything needs to look realistic, and, like, honestly, the live-action stuff that they had in the mech games was generally, or the MechWarrior games was generally pretty stupid and cringy. It wasn't as good as, like, the Red Alert stuff, which was Command & Conquer and Red Alert, which was just hilarious. Like, God, I remember, was it Red Alert 2 where they had, like, the super fucking American, like, old white guy Texan who's, like, got cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, and he's smoking a cigar. And he... Or maybe he didn't have a cowboy hat, but he was, like, super, like, yes, look at me, I am American. You will be in pain from how American I am, or something. You know, it's just, like, just every American stereotype, which is kind of the whole point. It's meant to be stupid. Gets mind-controlled by the Russians and just being stupid, and then you've got Tanya is just like a pissed off woman who will kill anything. It's the whole thing is just so weird. But it's great. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's hilarious in its own stupid way. Dig this out real quick. I don't think we need a mine yet, but we will in the future. We should probably look at our herbalist real quick. Oh good, we can make stuff. Let's do... what is that, 20? Go for it. I know I could probably do 22, but I'll stick with 20. But yeah, it was... that's live action done right. Whereas with MechWarrior, it just like... it was taking itself too seriously, I feel. Kind of. That's sort of my perspective on it. I can make 7? 3 times 7 is 20... 21? 21. So yes, I can. I can make 7. Now I make another 6 gold. Oh, I can do way more steel, so let's do like 30 steel. And then cut down some trees, probably. Okay. Start picking these up. Yeah, they're having trouble with this. That's fine. I don't really mind if they're going to have issues with it. We need to start consolidating things so that people are just mostly operating over here. I don't really want to mess around with the other stuff. These trees are not growing. They're very slow growing. Do we want to plant trees down here, maybe? Or maybe here? Yeah, you know what? This would be good. Is there much more quick growing? Yeah, the other game we were going to talk about today was Wargame, which is sort of like... it seems like it's sort of like an RTS, but it's like basically the Arma of RTSs, kind of. Where it's supposed to be like hyper-realistic. And... I don't know. I don't really care. It didn't really work for me Like, I was really interested in the subject matter because you're talking about, like, oh, this is really cool. Like, this is actually, like, I can look at the Korean conflict or the Korean War and say, hey, like, if I'm gonna play as the Americans, how do I execute this? And it was difficult for me to understand, I guess, some of it, because we don't really... I remember learning about the Korean War, but not really in any meaningful detail, really. Like, I couldn't tell you... Thinking back on it, I couldn't tell you why, like... Okay, look, I know American history, so my gut reaction is to say, well, we probably did something to make that happen. We probably did something to create the Korean War. However, what I know of Korean history is that historically they were pretty authoritarian and, you know, dynastic rule with, like, North Korea is kind of closer to the norm of old school, like what Korea used to be prior to the Korean War, when it was united. So, I'm thinking, did we interfere in a negative way, or did we interfere to... Oh no, actually, first of all, the Korean War that I'm thinking of is after North and South Korea had split, so I'm being stupid. I don't know why I don't know. My brain is not working that well. I should read up on the Korean War. It's an interesting conflict that I know very little about. Which is interesting because I actually have family that was stationed, I don't think it was up there during that time, but in Laos and that area. Which is sort of the same part of the world, I think. It's obviously a different country, but kind of around Vietnam and Korea and all those Southeast Asian countries that aren't islands, obviously. So, I guess I mean, and then my girlfriend's Filipino, so I've got a connection to that part of the world. I should probably know a little bit more about it, but I'm American, I'm not supposed to know anything. If everyone's gonna treat us like we're all stupid, then I might as well actually be stupid. Don't put in the effort, right? That's how that works. That's how the logic should be used, totally. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of want to read up about that now. But I thought it'd be cool, like that would be a very good example of like education through video games is... I don't remember what the fuck happened in Korean War, but if I remembered playing through a scenario that was like, hey, here's how this worked, maybe I'd remember. Like, I mainly know the name Saladin from Age of Empires 2 scenarios and some of the Joan of Arc stuff, but Joan of Arc is like, I think that's closer to being propaganda. I'm not sure, like, I'm a little bit, so I would like to see like proper historical, basically I'd like to see a historian who knows a hell of a lot more than I do kind of look at that and tell me if that's bullshit or not, because Joan of Arc seems like, it seems like the kind of thing that would be like concocted for propaganda reasons, basically. It's like, look, God is on our side and all that, yeah, all that stuff. So I'm not really all that sure how I feel about it or what I think. But Saladin or Saladin was pretty cool. I remember, didn't he, like, there was some parlay with one of the King Richards, I think. Can't remember. European history I'm not too good at, but it's fun. Like, it's interesting subject matter, and I think learning history from video games is like a legitimate, solid way to learn history. So you don't really get too many, it doesn't come up in day-to-day life generally. The only way you'd really learn about it is if you went out of your way to read about it or something like that, so... Did we not make another bench? I feel like we didn't make another bench. I didn't mean to do that. Just put it there. This one, move it here. See, you're not... Okay, fine. They're not taking orders to move things. They're just taking orders to pick things up, and then they will do the order to move things. This is very weird. I'm not going to pretend I understand what the hell's going on with this. Just put it don't know, they don't need to go in the chest. You just literally need to put them right. Okay, and someone just did it for you because you're stupid. Alright. Alright, we're done with that, finally. Woodworker, or the carpenter's moved. But yeah, history in games would be fun to learn more from those, as opposed to just kind of having history classes, and most games don't really have a historical slant, and when they do, it's they're pretty hardcore, like you're mostly looking at EU4 and stuff like that, which is a little bit difficult to get into and not really accessible for most people. But that is going to have to do it for today's episode, so thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join us for the next one as well. Take care.